Hey, what's up everybody? Skyler Thomas here. Welcome to part 2 of how to create a Patronus in After Effects. Last video I showed you how to create this effect right here. And today I'm going to show you how to track the effect onto your footage of you holding a wand, saying Expecto Patronum. I shot this kind of dark exposure so the effect would show up better, but feel free to shoot this with as nice of cinematic lighting as you want. Just make sure that it matches up with your perspective. This is a side angle view and the effect is from the side as well. So make sure those match up and you should be good to go. One other thing, the wand that I have, I got pretty cheap off Amazon. It's pretty nice. I'm gonna put the link to it in the description if you're in need of a wand, if you're gonna be playing around with Harry Potter effects or anything like that. I like this one. I think it's pretty good for the cost, so check it out. So with that being said, let's create a new composition, and we're going to call this footage. The reason I'm not just selecting my clip and going right-clicking and going new comp from selection is because I shot it in 4K. I wasn't even really thinking. I want it to be in 1920 by 1080, so make sure your footage clip is the size that you want. Mine is 1920 by 1080. And from here, I'll just drag down the footage. So I'm going to scale that down. And now we're good to go. So what we want to do is track the tip of the wand from the point that it just goes out. And in order to do that, what we're going to first do is create a new null object. This is what we're going to track the position coordinates onto so that we can apply that to our effect. So we create a new null object, and now what we do is we highlight our clip and we go over into our panel to the right here and we go to tracker. If you're not seeing that, what you should do is go to window and make sure that you have tracker checkmarked, and that will make it show up. And so what you're going to want to do is click track motion. What this is going to do is create a track point. We're going to want to put that track point over the end of the wand. And I can already tell that I shot this wasn't good enough lighting, so it's going to have a tough time seeing where the end of the wand is. What we're probably going to have to do is track this frame by frame. If you shoot this with better lighting, with not such a similar background color, you would be able to just click analyze forward and it would automatically track those points for you. But I can already tell that we're going to have to go frame by frame, which is this button right here. Analyze one frame forward, and then we'll make sure to move this around so that it's centered over the wand. So you can begin doing that now. So you click this button, and maybe even zoom in more so you can really see the end of the wand. And frame by frame, we're going to move this around. And you're going to do this for as long as you want the wand to be tracked. So I'm going to fast forward now that you kind of know how to do it, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, that didn't take too long. That wasn't so bad. So now what we want to do, now that we have those coordinates, is we want to go to Edit Target and make sure that it's selected to our null object. And we want to hit Apply. Make sure Position is the only one that's checked, because that's the only thing that we're trying to track right now is the position of the end of the wand. So we hit Apply, X and Y coordinates, that's what we're looking for, and we hit OK. So basically what that does is it takes all those position coordinates that we just tracked and it applies them to our null object. So now, when we bring in our Patronus effect that we created last video, we can parent it to the null object and it'll move around in just the way that we want. So first, we have our chicken. So the first thing we want to do, so now that we have that effect, is go to Screen. That'll cut out the black part of the effect. And we want to find where we first start tracking, right there. We want to bring the beginning of the Patronus effect to begin right there. So we're going to want to put that into position at the end of the wand. And we kind of want to figure out what we want to be our scale. I know we want to start off with a pretty small scale, but what we want to do right now is move ahead just a little bit. And let's figure out how big we want our chicken. We want it to be bigger than this because that doesn't look like, in perspective, a good size for what an actual chicken would be. So we're going to scale up. until we see something that we like, and I think that's a pretty good size. Doesn't need to be any bigger than that. All right, so that's 180%. And we're going to go back to the beginning. And what this is doing is I think it's making it be a little bit too big to begin with. I would like it to be a bit smaller. So let's put that into position. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the anchor point, because I want it to maintain pretty much in the same spot as it grows. So we're going to go to our pan behind anchor point tool, and we're going to bring that to the origination point of the effect. Now that that is there, you can go back and figure out where exactly we want it to get to its current scale. I think it would be good if it hit right there. We're going to hit the stopwatch, and then we're going to go back, and we're just going to bring it down, make it a bit smaller, so it looks like it's just starting off from the tip of the wand. That looks pretty good to me. So now what we'll do is we want to parent it to this null, but I know I don't want it to track to the null for the duration of the whole spell. At some point I do want it to, right when it gets probably here, you can see that it's kind of a blast. I want it to stay in place once it gets here. So I'm going to go into I'm going to duplicate the null for one, so that we can use the other one for some different effects. And we're just going to rename this null 6. So now we can bring up the keyframes, and we can delete these keyframes. Might need to highlight them up until that point, and we're just going to delete them. So now it's only going to track the position for this duration. So what we'll do is we'll take the pick whip and we'll parent it to the null. So now you're going to see that as it blasts out, the effect follows the wand. What we can even do is make sure that it really starts at the edge. It doesn't. We're going to put that right at the end of the wand. And that's where it's going to start and move around from. I think that looks good. And what you're going to see is that at the end of this, it's going to kind of maintain its position now. It's not going to be wiggling around too much, and I think that's what we're kind of trying to go for. All right. One other thing that I want to do, and the reason why we duplicated this null, is now I want to bring in the wispy wand part. Just those little wisps that are coming out of the wand. And the reason I want to do this is after that initial blast comes out, I want there to be something coming out of the wand still. So we're going to move that over. Maybe scale this down a bit, just so it looks like there's something coming out of the wand. And let's set this, instead of to normal, let's set it to screen. It's going to lighten it up a bit and take out those kind of darker spots. And once we get this set into position at the edge of the wand, we can go ahead and parent that to our original null. And that'll follow the wand's position as it comes out. So as that blast comes out, I think we'll move it back even further. Maybe even a bit more. This is just going to maintain the illusion that there is still magic coming out of the wand throughout the effect. I think what we're going to do now is we'll duplicate the wispy wand effect. And maybe we'll flip it upside down so it kind of looks a little bit different. We'll unlink the scale, and what we can do just to flip that vertically is hit -65. And we're going to scale this out, or offset this a bit so that it just maintains that magic throughout the effect. And what we can do that, we can keep duplicating it, offsetting it, maybe changing the perspective just a little bit, making it shorter and fatter. We might need to move this particular one. And we'll keep doing that until the effect is gone. I think it's only going to need maybe... No, that might be the last one that we need. So that's pretty much the gist of that. You can put as many of those kind of wispy wands and other effects in as you'd like. But we're just trying to maintain the illusion that there is more magic coming out of the wand throughout the duration of the effect. Alright guys, so that's pretty much how you do the effect. One other thing you can do is bring it into Premiere and maybe add some sound effects to it. I find sound effects typically sell the effect, so go ahead and search those out on either YouTube, or I use Audio Blocks as well. All good sites. Hope you guys got something out of this. If you did, hit subscribe, hit like. I've got a lot more videos coming up on different effects and camera techniques and all sorts of fun stuff. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. Peace.
Expecto Patronum.